I think I've figured out how Keanu Reeves returns in John Wick 5 after the end of Chapter 4. John Wick 5 looks destined to go ahead at some point in the future, and despite John Wick Chapter 4's conclusive ending, I think I've figured out how the protagonist could return. Having supposedly been killed off in the previous movie, Keanu Reeves looks set to return in John Wick 5 as the titular character, after a fifth movie was confirmed to be in development. While Keanu Reeves and Chad Stahelski are yet to confirm their involvement in the next outing, Lionsgate EVP Jennifer Brown claimed the studio is working on another installment. This should be clarification that the main story will continue, but John Wick's fate in Chapter 4, alongside the lack of confirmation about whether Reeves and Stahelski are involved, continues to have fans questioning the state of the franchise. What we know for sure is that Keanu Reeves will be involved in Ana de Armas' Ballerina spinoff, and assuming it performs well, it's hard to imagine another main movie not happening. However, this raises questions about how the Baba Yaga will return from the dead, and I think that one important side character may provide the answer. While John Wick only has a handful of trusted allies remaining in the action universe, the director is one of his most reliable, and she could be the key to John faking his death. Although Winston may be the obvious choice given how much he was involved in the protagonist's story, having someone less attached to the high table assist him would allow John to convincingly stay dead. With Winston owning the New York Continental and being the protagonist's closest ally, his connection would feel too immediate for him to pull off this fake death without it feeling fairly suspicious. Going to someone less attached who is still trustworthy feels more in character for John, as it would allow him to convince everyone he was dead, including those closest to him. Instead, going to someone less attached who is still trustworthy feels more in character for John, as it would allow him to convince everyone he was dead, including those closest to him. He wouldn't attempt a stunt like this half-heartedly, and both his allies and enemies believing he is gone feels like the best way for him to retire. As a result, the director is the perfect candidate to make this fake-out believable, as she is well-connected and has various resources that could make him disappear without what's left of the high table suspecting her involvement. Additionally, with Angelica Houston's the director confirmed to be among Ballerina's cast of characters, a possible nod to John's fate being a red herring could be set up in the spinoff, as it takes place before the events of John Wick, Chapter 4. The Baba Yaga went to her previously when in need of safe passage that no one else could provide, and a cryptic scene in Ballerina would further emphasize the director's potential involvement in his seemingly fake death, indicating she may have been the one who made the world believe John Wick was deceased through some off-screen antics. Winston and the Bowery King's conversation at the end of John Wick Chapter 4's ending suggests neither one of them is certain about John's fate, which makes the director being involved even more viable. The two had a brief interaction while standing over John's grave, where the Bowery King asked Winston, "Where do you think he is, heaven or hell?" In response, Winston simply replied, "Who knows?" prompting the Bowery King to laugh before walking away. This could suggest they both believe he may not be in the afterlife at all, as he could still be alive. However, the fact that neither of them directly gave an answer means even if they do still believe he could be out there somewhere, they probably didn't have anything to do with staging his death. It's impossible to know exactly what either was thinking, but regardless of what the characters believe, it seems they genuinely don't know what happened to John after Chapter 4's final showdown. Whether they were bluffing to one another or are genuinely clueless, Winston and the Bowery King still look destined to be important supporting characters in John Wick 5, assuming Reeves returns for the movie.